40 years ago today, Indianapolis was about to get slammed by a snowstorm bigger than anything it had ever seen. The blizzard of 1978.
Yeah, in fact, more than 15 inches of snow, winds up to 40 miles an hour, and drifts, as you can see there, as tall as basketball hoops. In fact, the blizzard, as you can imagine, and may remember, it paralyzed our city, and it also put people's lives in danger. In fact, it took days to get Indy back in business.
But in the middle of any crisis, people always find something good. Our Rich Van Wyck was just starting his career in 1978 when he ventured out and found one family weathering the storm in a pretty unusual way.
Yeah, in fact, he recently found his old videotape of the story, and then he also found the young boy who we met 40 years ago.
While the city was digging itself out and getting back to life, I found a family living it up in Ellenberger Park. That's Kent Demery and his family. They moved into this 18-foot teepee and set up camp. They were experienced winter campers. Back then, Kent told me this was their way of escaping all the news and mayhem around them. Demery even warned the city he was coming and tried to get the handful of necessary permits.
We talked to the gentleman at the mayor's office, and he suggested that before we could do this legally, we just needed all kinds of clearance. We didn't get it. The man just said, go ahead, nobody's going to hassle you.
They were roughing it in the freezing cold. That's 11-year-old Brett taking a hatchet to some firewood. 40 years later, we caught up with Brett. The video brought back what he calls one of the best childhood memories.
Wow, that was amazing.
What do you remember of that?
It was fun just to get out of school, go camping. There's nobody there, so it was just a good time.
As much fun as it was, Brett admitted that if he tried camping out like this with his kids today, he'd probably get arrested for child abuse.
Probably
Brett
true.
admitted that his dad was a lot of fun, but sometimes he could get a little out there with his ideas for having fun.
So what else did you learn in your archives going back down memory lane?
Well, we did a lot of searching. We found out that the city was completely unprepared for this blizzard. Now, to get out from under feet of snow and prevent a catastrophe, it of course depended on emergency services, but it also depended on the common sense of common people. One of the insiders I talked to said this was Indianapolis at its finest 40 years ago.
40 years ago, in this old
Yeah,
three-quarter-inch tape.
I prefer to call it like
thing,
me, not old,
but
classic.
you look fabulous.
Where did you find the machine to play this? I mean, that's the question.
My secret. Give it back.
You still look great, Rich. Still look great.
Well, check out our latest Newsmakers podcast. Chuck Lofton talked with Bob Gregory. Bob was here, too, covering the blizzard when it started in Indianapolis and all through the next several days. And you can get it wherever you get your podcasts.
Yeah, the adults may not have liked it back then, but the kids had so much fun.
Yes.
Well, it certainly was a memory.
Yeah.
You know, the snow being piled up so high on both sides of the road like that is something you can't really forget.
Yeah, we cannot forget it, and we don't want a repeat of that.
No. And